Howdy, folks. I'm brash Alaskan Peninsula Brown Bear, bitterly braving blustery blizzards.
I'm Amber.
And here are more blustery blizzards for us to brave. I hear many people in the US are doing that right now. So, if you're one of those people, good luck. Let's get started. Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Being Honest with My Partner About Their Short Film? My partner is a 26-year-old non-binary, and they spent 2 years and $15,000 making their first short film, which has been accepted into a few small local festivals. While I'm really proud of the effort and the passion that they put into it, I honestly don't like the film. It feels rough and unpolished, like a student project, and I don't think that it was worth the $15,000 that they spent. To me, $15,000 is a lot of money, even for a short film. I've seen others made for that amount or less that are much more polished or have stronger stories. If I had that kind of budget for my own project, I'd hold myself to higher standards. The script is confusing, the pacing is off, and the performance lacks chemistry, and some shots seem rushed or incomplete. I know it's their first film, but the final project doesn't really reflect the money and effort that they invested. I'm not the only one who feels this way. Other people have privately told me that they found the film confusing or underwhelming. One person even said that they could barely make it through the screening. While everyone has been polite to my partner and given positive feedback to their face, I feel like they're taking those remarks at face value. They also seem overly focused on the festival acceptances, which I think happen more because the film fits the festival's theme than because of its quality. We usually love critiquing bad movies together, but when it comes to their film, they won't take criticism from me. If I bring up any of the flaws, they shut down and say things like, nobody asked you. At the same time, they constantly share updates about the festival selections and praises that they have received, which makes me feel like they want reassurance from me. I've tried to be constructive, telling them that I'm glad that they learned from the process and that I hope that their next film will be even better. But I don't understand why they can't acknowledge that this film has any flaws or why they get so defensive when I'm just trying to be honest. I do want to be supportive, and I genuinely am glad that they're doing something that they're passionate about. It makes them happy, and that's what matters most. To me, though, this film is best viewed as a valuable learning experience. Pretending that I loved it would feel dishonest, and that's not the kind of partner that I want to be. Am I the jerk for being honest with my partner about their short film and saying that it wasn't worth the $15,000 that they spent? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yes, OP, you are being a jerk. And I'm wondering if some of this is coming from a place of jealousy that they get this grant to make this film. But regardless of the motives, you have to think about what your role is here. This is not some generic film that you two can critique. People are going to feel much closer about their personal projects. And your partner did not ask you to critique their film, it sounds like. It sounds like you have repeatedly been telling them what you don't like about it. And they have not been taking this into advisement because that's not what they're looking for. As their partner, if you wanted to give them constructive feedback when they were making the film, like you could have made suggestions here and there, it's done. There's nothing you can do to change it. Why criticize it?
Yeah, I might have a slightly different take on this one. It depends on what role they have. Like if the partner never asked them for feedback and just wants kind of like a pat on the back, that's one thing. But if the partner said, "Oh, what do you think of my film?" Right? Then that's a little bit of a different, more tricky situation, right?
Well, I'm basing on the way that it's worded. OP, it sounds like OP is keeps trying to talk to them about it, and the partner does not want to hear it.
Yeah.
So that's the vibe I'm getting,
Yeah.
and just based on how it's worded.
Well, the nobody asked you, for instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a difficult situation again, like because you want to see your partner do well and you want to see them grow, but on the other hand, like it's very difficult to take constructive criticism from a person who's close to you because it hurts a lot when they say things that, you're like, "Oh, this isn't necessarily the best" or something like that, right?
Well, and it's also a timing thing. Like, if you're trying to help your partner succeed, you need to give them feedback before the
Mm-hmm.
finished product. Like, Brian will read my chapters for me of my books and give me feedback on them. If he were to have nothing to do with them until the book was finished and then read the published book and be like, oh, you should have done X, Y,
Yeah.
and Z differently, that's not very helpful at that point in time because it's over and done. Like, maybe I can take some of those lessons into a future project, but it would be very frustrating that he could have given feedback sooner and he didn't.
Yeah, well, we don't know how involved he was in the, filming process and stuff like that, and whether the partner even asked for any of those kinds of critiques and whatnot. And the thing is, like, I do believe that you should be honest, and if OP was asked for their sincere opinion, then I think that they are allowed to give it, and I don't think that they should be afraid of giving their opinion, but, it also is one of these things where, a kind of a non-committal answer might be the best.
Or you do the compliment sandwich thing. You find, because I'm sure even if they don't like the film, there are pieces they like that they could like talk positively about.
Well, I don't know if the compliment sandwich really works all that well. I think you can start things off with, I don't think you're going to like what I have to say about this, but if you're open to hearing what I have to say, then I mean, I'd be willing to share it with you or something like that. And then that way the person's primed and knows that it might not be what they're looking for, type of thing.
Yeah, personally, I don't like that approach because that sets someone up to be antagonistic. They
Yeah.
already feel on the offensive. If you start off by telling them what you like, and then you lead into the places where they could improve, and then you finish on something you liked, they're might be more receptive because there's things you liked as well. It's not all bad.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Just Follow Your Eyes says, here's a great paraphrased piece of wisdom for you from the genius himself, Stephen Sondheim. Full story by Jason Robert Brown. Nobody cares what you think. Once a creation has been put into this world, you only have one responsibility to its creator. Be supportive. Support is not about showing how clever you are, how observant of some flaw, how incisive your criticism. There are other people whose job it is to guide the creator, to make it work, to make it live. Either they did their job or they didn't, but that's not your problem. You come to my show and you see me afterwards and say only this: I loved it. It doesn't matter if that's what you really felt. What I need at that moment is to know that you care enough about me and the work that I do to tell me that you loved it, not in spite of its flaws, not even though everyone else seems to have a problem with it, but plain and simply that I loved it. If you can't say that, don't come backstage. Don't find me in the lobby. Don't lean over the pit to see me. Just go home and either write me a nice email or don't. Say all the chatty, complainy things that you want to your friends, your neighbors, or the internet. Maybe next week, maybe next year, maybe someday down the line, I'll be ready to hear what you have to say. But at that moment, that face-to-face moment, after I have unveiled some part of my soul, however small, to you, that is the most vulnerable moment in any artist's life. If I beg you, plead with you to tell me what you really thought, what you actually, honestly, totally believed, then you must tell me, I loved it. That moment must be respected. I mean, I don't know. I think that there's sometimes, like, if somebody asks for your honest opinion, then you should give them your honest opinion.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is different, and different people have different feelings on this. Like, don't necessarily go as far as like you should straight up lie to people, but I do think that once it's out in the world, like as your partner, not some film critic, not some, your role is to be supportive and to help them with their next project.
Yeah. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, My partner, a 31-year-old male, told me, a 24-year-old female, that my art isn't worth the price. My partner, a 31-year-old male, and me, a 24-year-old female, have been together for 7 months. I'm an artist for a particular community, and I'm not well known, but I love drawing. And creating art is what brings me joy and happiness. My partner draws some, but struggles a lot and asks for advice and help quite often. They have never finished an art piece due to them getting discouraged and giving up. I try to lift them up and compliment their art so they keep trying as much as they can. I recently spent over 8 hours of my time on a very detailed piece of art and did a detailed background for the character as well. I jokingly asked my partner if this piece was worth $60. For context, I do commissions and I charge $60 for a full body piece. They asked me if I wanted their honest opinion and I said yes. They very bluntly told me that it was not worth $60 at all. I got quite upset and got quiet on the phone. I have shown them art of mine before just to show it, and I've gotten lots of judgment, criticism, and creative feedback without me asking for it. I recently did my first commission for a friend of mine and was just showing my partner the line of art, and they immediately started criticizing the legs and telling me that it looked awful. I redrew them 5 times and they were never up to my partner's standards, and they continued to judge them. It got to the point where I almost wanted to message the person who commissioned me to cancel and give them their money back because I didn't feel like my art was good enough. I feel even worse seeing as Christmas I drew my partner a personalized art piece that took me over a week to complete. At first I was upset and crying, however now that I've slept on it, I'm just plain angry. I am upset that someone who's supposed to support me and care for me would be so cruel as to bring me down in such a way. They did try to backtrack and say that they would pay that price for the art. They told me that they didn't mean what they said and that they're not sure why they said it. I feel as though that they said what they thought was true at first and now are just trying to go into damage control. They have apologized, but what they have said still hurts and is sticking with me. Is there something that I can just do to get over what has happened? All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, OP, I don't know there is getting over this. He's being unnecessarily cruel. It sounds like this is probably coming from a place of sour grapes since he's trying art and then giving up. But even no matter what, like he is being unnecessarily harsh and cruel. And I don't think what he's saying is fair or called for. I don't think he is giving you an objective assessment.
Yeah, this one is a little different because it doesn't seem like this person has OP's best interest at heart and doesn't really is more maybe jealous, and that jealousy is coming out in their criticisms, and I think that that is leading them to have a unfair, biased opinion of OP's art, right? Like if you spend 8 hours on a piece of art, it's worth $60, right?
Well, that's the thing is like just thinking of the time and the time and labor investment.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people will charge like $20 an hour is like a fairly reasonable price for like an art commission, and so OP is even probably underselling herself.
Oh yeah. So what I would say to OP here is that the people who pay you for commissions, they know what your art looks like. They know what your art is all about. They are going to be perfectly happy because they commissioned you. If they commissioned you to draw something in someone else's style and you couldn't do it and it came out looking bad or wrong or something like that, then that wouldn't be the fault of you at that point in time. It would be the fault of the person who commissioned you to do art in a style that wasn't familiar to you.
Well, that's the thing is like him tearing down OP's commission because it's not what he wants. This wasn't going to him. This was going to a friend who presumably likes OP's artwork.
Yeah.
And like trying to make it like his opinion is what matters to the point where OP feels so bad she didn't even want to do the commission anymore. Like that's just awful.
Yeah. And that's really what this boils down to. People who commission you have a certain expectation. They're not expecting it to be perfect. They're expecting it to be art. Art is never perfect, right? That's just the reality of it. There's always going to be flaws that happen when you're making art. If it were perfect, then we would just hire robots to print everything out for us, right? But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, My Fiance Used My Childhood Trauma to Win a Video Game. I don't even know how to type this out or explain my thoughts right now, so I apologize if I seem a bit scattered. I'm a 31-year-old male and I've been engaged to my fiancée, a 29-year-old female, Emily, for the past 3 months, together for 2 years. She has been the only relationship where I felt safe enough to open up and discuss my past trauma. Many nights I have cried in her arms, and she has been there to comfort me. She goes to therapy with me and has been a rock in our relationship. I have been getting much better since I have really opened up about it and have been able to live a better and more liberating life in the past 2 years until last Sunday. Emily is ultra competitive, not just in sports, but in life in general. She will do whatever it takes to win and be number one. She has lost friends, family relationships, jobs, and money. She understands this and has been trying to get better by going to therapy, stating that she doesn't know why she is like this. She seems to cool down over the summertime, but she is still very competitive. Even her parents have no idea because they were not athletic and they have never pushed her to be number one, and her siblings are confused where this all started as well. I was a former college athlete, and yes, I'm competitive, but not so much anymore. And recently, my friend group has been having a monthly game night, and I was on a 4-month win streak. We played board games, old video games, painting, basketball, and even football, and it was all in good fun. But Emily last month was so angry that she did not win that she walked home and did not want to talk to me for the last at least 2 days. Before we left for the game night, I asked her to please have fun and It does not matter who wins. She promised me that she would try, and as game night came to an end, Emily and I were tied with one more event. Rules are, if it's a man versus woman, the lady chooses the final game. She selected N64 Mario Kart, and I'm king of that game, and I never lose. I asked her if she really wanted to do that, and then she called me a chicken, and that I was talking big, and that she would beat me at my own game. I should have backed off, but I caved, and we raced. Now, common knowledge is, let her win. And trust me, I thought about that, but she gets really angry if she thinks that you let her win. Her attitude is way worse. As we started racing, it was tight, and she kept hitting the banana peels, but she kept catching up. The last lap, she started trying to distract me by saying that he snores when he sleeps, a basic kind of middle school insults. Then she tried bumping me to distract me, but I was locked in focused. I responded back, at least I don't keep hitting the bananas, love. It was very simple and fun. We are in the final leg of the race, and that's when she snapped, at least I didn't get assaulted by my own family. I froze up and I dropped the controller, and she passed me and she won. She was jumping up and down with joy, screaming and dancing that she had finally won. From what my friends told me later, she kept that up for a good while until she saw my face, and that's when she stopped. My friends were in complete shock and asked me if it was true. I couldn't speak, I couldn't breathe, and I was fighting back all the inner demons that were swirling in my head. I simply got up and I wished them a good night, and I started walking. I was in a trance. I didn't know where I was walking to. Emily tried calling and texting and asking where I was, begging for me to call her and come home. Kept saying that she's sorry, that she just wanted to win so badly, and don't know why I said that. I simply needed space, and I told her to please stop calling me. I don't know what to do. I love this girl and I trusted her, but she used that trust to win a game. My friends are asking me about my past and won't leave me alone. I guess all I'm asking is there a way back from this, or is this the end? Do I dump her? Do I try to work this out? Any advice would be very helpful. All right, folks, what do you think about this one? Can some bells be unrung?
No, honestly, OP, I think it's best if you break up with her. I mean, she used your trauma against you to win a video game. I mean, I'm a very competitive person, but like, I get annoyed when I don't win, but I have never used something personal against someone to try and win a game over them. She was willing to manipulate you to bring up something that is like your hardest thing you've struggled with, just to shock you into not being able to play anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I have a really hard time here with this one. I mean, it sounds like she's been a very, very supportive partner, and she's done a lot to help OP. And so I think this is going to have to be a personal thing that OP has to think about, right? Is this going to be so traumatic for you that you can even trust her again?
Right, because not only did she bring up OP's trauma in a horrible way, but she also did this in front of all of his friends who now are expecting him to talk about it, which like his friends need to back off. If they really care about OP, they need to understand that there are some parts of someone's life that are private and that are on them to share or not share.
Yeah, well, and that's it. It's like, if you don't know about it, there's a reason you don't know about it, right? Now, I think that this was a really shocking thing for OP to hear, and I can't blame them for being confused about the situation because it's really hard. You know, betrayal is one of the hardest things for us to process, and it can really be a difficult time to, figure out where to go and how to move forward from something like this. I think that OP would be well entitled to end this relationship, but I think that if this is something that she is truly, sincerely willing to like actually work on, and she's going to have to, really, really go into therapy, really work on some of these feelings of competitiveness and stuff like that before she can even be to the point where OP can trust her to not bring out things like this, right? Because like this is just kind of a line that she shouldn't have crossed. And it really makes you wonder a lot about her and her state here if she was willing to go this far.
Right, because what's she gonna do another time? Like, will she bring this up again? Will she find something else to bring up that is really hard to hear? Like, just the level of betrayal there is so deep, and like it's such a horrible situation for Opie. I feel so bad for him.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What did the cow say to the horse blocking her path?
Move over.
Yeah, I have move it.
Oh.
But so, same idea. It is National Milk Day, and
Ooh.
it's also National Secret Pal Day.
Ooh.
So, write a secret pal a letter.
Yes, I have both with me, actually. I have milk,
That's tea.
and I have a special friend, which is the milk.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's Spooks, my Mothman plush.
No, it's not Spooks, unless you want me to drink Spooks. And I have matcha, the special guest tea.
Which is, believe it or not milk.
It's green milk. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Spectacular Saturday, folks. I hope your Saturday is off to a spectacular start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on Artistic Vision.
It's okay to offer constructive criticism to an artist, but especially if there's someone close to you, like your partner, don't tear them down and destroy their self-confidence.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!